Shalom. Want to start giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Makakitash, the ones of the apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, for teaching us the scriptures, among other things. And salutations to all the Akyam across the earth who are doing this work in sincerity and truth. And a shalom to the sincere brothers and sisters who are at home watching the videos and do their best to please Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai. So this video basically going to go into that whole Christmas thing, and currently I'm on the island of Curacao, and here the people, they celebrate it very big, and it's funny because if you look at these people in general, they claim to believe, they claim to believe in God and in Jeebers, but it clearly shows you that they don't know the Bible. They are very, very big here concerning Christmas. They celebrate it very big. They decorate the houses, and I believe they still do it. I don't know, and I know about a few years ago that they were still doing it, like who has his house the best decorated, concerning this Christmas, and then they could win a money prize. I don't know how much, but that's what they used to do back days, and the people are very heavy into it. If you go to the store shopping, you see everywhere basically that there's a lot of things concerning this Christmas lights and these all kinds of things to decorate the houses with. So they're very big on it. And how do you say that? So as you can see here on the picture, you see the first thing is islands finance for Curacao, and they're making commercials, especially that they can people can borrow, especially up to 30,000 Curacao guildens, to so they can borrow it for the holidays, because they do it very big. And that's also a thing they eat like a pig shoulder. They make a whole shoulder, they put it in the oven, put some season and honey on it, and that's their special Christmas pig. So they going off on major thing, because yeah, I did a video already concerning the dietary law, things that we're supposed to eat and all that, and we ain't supposed to eat, and pork is one of those animals that we ain't supposed to eat. But it's been heavily promoted because they made it especially with this Christmas thing. So, and even so, you have a commercial from Subway that they had this Christmas pig, this ham, that you can have it on the sandwich, So, yeah, and if you look at the people in general, they are, the majority of them, you could say 9 of 10 of the people here in Curacao, they're dealing with overweight. They're dealing with overweight, with diabetics, cholesterol. They got all kinds of health issues going on, because the food here is very yeah, it's a lot of fat in it. It's sugars, high in sugars, high in fats, and the people don't move that much. Meanwhile, you have to see here, but a lot of people even cannot swim, but you have to see here, so people can swim basically. You can do your exercise when you get up, things like that. But also on the other side, if going to the gym here is very expensive, that's also a thing. But yeah, the weather is good. You got a few spots where you can go and train outside, and yeah, literally you can basically make your own thing, because a lot of people, when they got their house, they got some ground around it and some room, that they basically have an option to build some places to, yeah, when they can do the exercises and basically stay in shape. And there's also, yeah, there's a lot of things, but they're doing it around the world, globally. Basically, they make the healthy stuff expensive, because in Holland you see the same thing, the healthy stuff, the vegetables and all these things. If you want to eat bio, things without preservatives in it and all that, then it costs you more than the junk food, and that's something that they locally do. But yeah, nevertheless, here on the island, there are a lot of things that you can grow by yourself, so that's also a thing. But yeah, so how do you say that? But yeah, I want to go into this Christmas thing, because that also shows you that people, they don't read the Bible. They have no clue what is written therein. And the law, statutes, and commandments, basically everything, the Bible is written by and for the real children of Israel, the so-called Negros, Latinos, and the so-called Indianos, and those that go back to those people by the house of their father, by the bloodline of the father, because the father carries the seed and he prolongs the bloodline. You are what your father is, so that's what it is. The woman conceives and the man gives. Seed is already a man or a boy, and it goes into it goes into the woman, and then by the woman, she has the egg. It's going to be nurtured, and then the boy or the girl is going to grow in the womb, and when it's fit to get out, it comes out. That's what it is. And yeah, like you can see here on the picture, so I made a collage of it. So you see that commercial, what I said, I saw that, I'm like, damn, and I already knew that people were basically getting themselves in debt, basically to celebrate this Christmas. They want everything new in the house, new furniture, like a new couch, new table, and all that, so that so they can invite family to come to eat to them, and then basically brag and boast. That's what they like to do. So yeah, and let me see. So basically that, and as you see on the picture now, you see the famous bridge, you see just a house, and the thing where the Curacao is written, at Punda, it's city. So they decorate everything, and if you go there to Punda and Otrobanda, you see a lot of stuff. They really did a lot of things that give lights, on roundabouts, and so they do all these things. But yeah, meanwhile the scriptures are very clear, and the law, statutes, and commandments to begin with are given unto the real children of Israel, the so-called Negros, Latinos, and the so-called Indianos. So what the heathens do, it shouldn't be our concern. Our concern should be that we keep the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Basham Yahushai, of the Heavenly Father, to the best of our ability. Of course, we cannot keep everything. There's 613 laws, statutes, and commandments. So that's that. In this world, in this body, is it not possible to do it? But nevertheless, that shouldn't be an excuse to at least try. To at least try to keep them. There are many that you still can keep. For example, like a man, stop shaving. Just to name an easy, basically an easy law to follow, which is already hard for a lot of people because they want to do lineups and all these things, because that's also thing, you shouldn't shave your head, make no lineups, stuff like that. But that's already very difficult for a lot of people. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and 6. For thou art an holy people unto Yahweh thy power. Yahweh thy power had chosen me to be a special people unto himself above all the people that are upon the face of the earth. So you see that. So we were chosen by the Heavenly Father to be a special people above all the people that are upon the earth. And right now it doesn't show because to the transgressions that we have been doing, we are at the bottom right now, but you can see things are shifting, and when Yahushua is gonna come back, he's gonna subdue all these rulerships, all these kingdoms, and then our people, we're gonna be on top again, and this time it's gonna be forever, not during like in the dark ages that we used to rule for a while. Because after that we went into the slavery, the Atlantic slave trade started, So yeah, man. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 147, verse 19. He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. You see that? So the law, statutes, and commandments, it only is for the children of Israel. For example, if you got a son and you give him some rules concerning the house, what time he should supposed to be at home, his bedtime, chores that he had to do in the house. You don't care about what the neighbor does. If your son be like, yeah, but the neighbor does have to do it, you'll be like, okay, I don't give a fuck what, you won't say it like that, but you say like, I don't give a hoot nanny about what, how do you say that? I don't give a hoot nanny about what the neighbor does. I care about what you do. You know, you're my son, so I want you to keep my rules in my house. So basically, that's the same way for the Heavenly Father. We His children, you know, the children of Israel. We His children. So He wants us to be in a good condition. He wants us to do good. So that's why He gave us law, statutes, and commandments. You know, for example, concerning the dietary law. Because if you keep it, you will find yourself in a much healthier state already. Book of Psalms 147, verse 20. He had He had not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh. You see that? So he had not dealt so with any other nations. And I see something else written down here. Let me check it if it's good precept, or sometimes I also write things down, and then it's not literally a precept, but more like an explanation. But let me see what is written here. Let me see. Yeah, so this is the book of Second Esdras, chapter 5 and verse 27. And among all the multitudes of people thou hast gotten thee one people, and unto this people whom thou lovest thou givest a law that is approved of all. You see that? So it made it clear yet again that the law is only given to the people that he loved. So yeah, this is the book of Jeremiah. Chapter 10. Hear ye the word which Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heavens are dismayed at them. So the chariots, you know, the blood moon, all these things, you know, these things are for a sign there. So it's not something for us to be amazed by, you know. For the custom of the people are vain, for one cutteth a tree out of the forest, okay, he cutteth a tree, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe. So he cuts a tree out of the forest, they deck it with silver and with gold, so they decorate it with silver and with gold. So that's how they used to do it back days. Now you have all these fringes, these things in all kinds of colors. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not. So they make sure that it stays stable. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must be borne, so it means they have to be carried, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good. You see that? So they're already, you know, that's the description of a Christmas tree. So already showing you that we ain't supposed to do that. And for the people that be like, yeah, but this Old Testament, this and that. When Yahweh Shai came, you know, when the one who the world in ignorance calls Jesus. You know, when Yahweh Shai came, then the law doesn't, they don't count anymore. So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 17. Think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not to come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one title shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break, so these are the words of Yahweh Shai, the words of the world or who the world in ignorance he calls Jesus. These are his words. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. See that? So there you have it. So basically, I'm gonna leave it like that. You know, this was my point. You know, I was looking at this Christmas thing, and you know, sometimes it really vexes me. I'm like, you know, these people are gone. You know, people are gone, and this also shows you why the majority of the people, you know, they're gonna be destroyed. You know, because even sometimes you point it out to them, then they still wanna do this. You know, it's very really deep in them. And if you watch, for example, the old series of Roots, you know, the original one, you had the point when these so-called white people, these Edomites, they were celebrating Christmas, and Kunta Kinte, he was a little bit young, so he asked Fiddler what his Christmas was all about, and Fiddler told him like, no, I don't know what it is. The only thing that I know, that's the only time in the year when these white people are friendly, you know, and happy. You see that, and they were basically forced to celebrate with him, you know, and that's how these hedonistic things basically came to us also concerning the food, you know. I speak about it in the video about the dietary law, you know, like the pig feed and all these, you know, because these were the things that the slave masters wouldn't eat, and that's what they gave to the to the slaves, you know, the snout, the feet, the ears, and the tail. And our people start to make all kinds of things with it, you know, season it, and now it's so called. They called it criollo, you know, like the original culture food, you know, which is fucking bullshit and very bad for your health also, and we ain't supposed to eat that. So yeah, man, with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Basham Yahushai, Basham Kakadash, double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone for teaching of scriptures, among other things, and salutations to all the Akyam across the world. We're doing this work in sincerity and truth, so with that, I'm going to say Shalom.